You did everything right, you saved carefully, spent sensibly, and somehow at the checkout, your money buys less than it did last year. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly what playing it safe is costing you and how to stop the leak. Here's the confusing part: the savings balance even grew a little. The number goes up while the life it can buy quietly shrinks. Nothing dramatic ever happens. That's exactly why almost nobody notices the loss. And this isn't a one-country story. Across most advanced economies, cash savings rates spent years below inflation. We checked the long-run data. Plenty of patient, responsible savers were going backwards while feeling like they were winning. Here's the twist worth staying for: the biggest risk to your money over the next decade probably isn't a market crash. It's the option that feels like no risk at all. Fear has been guarding the wrong door. So here's the plan. First, the reframe that changes what safe actually means. Then the 3 places your money can live, the trap that catches careful savers, and a calm, staged path from saver to builder. Start with the reframe. Inflation is a silent tax on standing still. It never sends a bill and never asks permission. It simply raises every price around your money while the balance sits perfectly, safely, still. Draw it and the story becomes obvious. Prices climb year after year, cash without growth stays flat. The widening gap between those 2 lines is your buying power leaking away politely, silently, and on schedule. Every family has a version of this story: money tucked away decades ago that felt like a fortune, worth a fraction today. Nobody stole it. It just sat still while the whole world moved. So why do smart people still choose the flat line? Psychology. Losses hurt roughly twice as much as gains feel good. A red day in the market screams at you. The slow leak in savings never makes a sound. And that's the real reframe. There is no zero-risk option. Cash risks purchasing power. Markets risk short-term drops. You don't get to avoid risk entirely. You only get to choose which risk you carry and for how long. So the question is never just safe or risky. It's which risk fits which timeline. Because what feels safe this month and what is safer over a decade are frustratingly almost exact opposites. Option 1, cash. The vibe is control. You can see it, touch it, spend it tomorrow morning. For emergencies and near-term plans, that instant control is genuinely worth paying for, and you do pay for it. Here's the price tag on that comfort. Take a typical 5-figure savings balance. A decade of ordinary inflation quietly erases around $2,500 of its buying power. Guaranteed. No crash, no bad luck, no headlines required. Option 2, high-interest savings. The vibe is responsible interest lands every month, and that's real progress. The catch: after inflation and often tax, the growth is usually thin. Sometimes it's still negative. The hurdle with savings accounts is the illusion of finishing. The interest notification feels like winning, so the money never takes the next step. It's a good resting place and a terrible final destination. Option 3, broad, boring investing, owning small slices of many businesses through index funds. The vibe is honestly uncomfortable at first. The value wobbles, some days it drops. That discomfort is the price of admission. The trade-off: over short windows, markets are noisy and occasionally cruel. Over long windows, ownership of productive businesses has historically outpaced inflation, which is precisely the one job cash can never do. The hurdle isn't intelligence, it's temperament. This only works if you can watch the number dip without abandoning the plan. Which is why how much you invest matters far less than how calmly you can hold it. Now the turn most people miss. The risk you can see is rarely the risk that gets you. Volatility is loud but temporary. Inflation is silent but permanent. Fear spends all its energy watching the wrong door. Zoom out a decade and the picture flips. The scary option has historically grown through its own storms. The safe option arrives smaller than it left, so which one was actually risky? The right mix differs by household. Near-term goals, a home deposit, next year's fees belong in cash, no matter what markets promise. Long-term money, a decade or more away, is where standing still costs the most. So here's the private question. Look at your biggest pile of money. Does it have a date? If you genuinely won't touch it for a decade, is a plan deciding where it sits, or is fear? Now the caution, because this cuts both ways. Investing money you'll need soon isn't brave, it's gambling with rent. Markets don't care about your timeline. The emergency fund never, ever goes to work in them. And respect the honest maths. Markets can stay flat or down for years at a time. A real plan survives a bad stretch, financially and emotionally. Build for the boring worst case, not the brochure. Also, don't swing from all cash to all in overnight. Fear flips into greed surprisingly fast, and both make the same mistake, betting everything on one feeling. Move gradually. Boring transitions are the ones that survive. One more trap, waiting for the perfect moment. Fear disguises itself as patience. I'll start after the next crash. Decades of evidence lean one way. For normal households, time beats timing. Almost every time, the sequence matters more than the products. Buffer first, then build. Keep 3 to 6 months of essential costs in cash. That moat is what lets the long-term money stay calmly invested when life gets loud. Here's the whole transition in one ladder. Keep the buffer in cash, give every other dollar a date. Short dates stay safe. Long dates go to work automatically on payday, so fear never gets a vote. Start smaller than feels meaningful. A modest automatic amount, every payday teaches your nervous system that wobble is normal. You're not chasing returns yet, you're training temperament. The amount can grow later, the habit comes first. Then give your money job titles. The buffer protects, near-term savings fund real goals, and the decade money grows. When every dollar has a job, fear loses its favorite argument: vagueness. Use the 10-year test on every big pile. Will I actually need this money inside that window? If yes, keep it safe and accept the small leak. If no, then standing still is the expensive choice. Once a year, check the system. Buffer intact, dates still true, transfers still running. 10 calm minutes. No forecasting, no news, no heroics. Systems beat willpower every single year in every kind of market. And notice what changes back at that same checkout. Prices still rise, that part never stops, but now part of your money rises with them. You've stopped paying the silent tax and started collecting a small piece of it. Playing it safe was never free, it just billed you invisibly. So keep your buffer, date your dollars, and automate one small, brave transfer this payday, then let the decade do the heavy lifting. Subscribe to this channel for more clear money steps like this.